Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, let's see. How is everybody doing today? Trying to make sure. This says we're live. There we go, there we go. Let's see. Good morning. Okay. We got everything working. We got everything working. I had a power outage because of a storm on Saturday, and it like shut my whole computer down and messed a bunch of stuff up, along with like apparently my OBS settings for streaming. So that's great. Does this sound okay for you guys? I made a video with OBS last week at the end of the week and realized that I sounded like I was in a tunnel. So hopefully you guys can hear me okay. All right, let's get into it because the market's opening in about 4 minutes. We had some news. Let me go ahead and pull up Financial Juice. We pushed up over the evening, and then I believe, yeah, there was a bunch of war news, which is why we pushed down. It was essentially them saying that yeah, like senior Iranian, however you say that, official, Iran has decided to shift its policy from defensive to a fully offensive one. So all Iranian entities will be prepared to escalate tensions in the Hormuz Strait and the region if diplomacy fails. So tensions are high, essentially. And it's worth noting that that happened because whenever news like that comes out, obviously we can expect that there might be some sort of response. So one area I'm interested in just off the bat is I drew a fib from yesterday's low to the overnight pre-market high. Okay, so down here to up here, that gives me this pocket right here, our little golden pocket. Within that pocket, we have pre-market low, Asia low, gap from gapping up for the week open, right? When NQ opened for Asia session last night is right there. It never got filled. That's what this little box is. Let me just like take the little line, the midline off of that. If I can figure out how. I actually don't know how to do that, so I'm just gonna leave it. Whatever. And then, so yeah, Asia low, pre-market low, that gap, and the golden pocket of that big move up. Overall, on the higher time frame, I am still bullish. We've seen a decrease in news. I think the best way to put it is like sustained reactions from news. war news specifically. The market seems to be a little bit over it from just like my own interpretation. So I would not say, oh, there was some negative news and now we're just going to dump all day by any means. I think NQ is still very strong. We could still definitely push up. Why is there a yellow line on my screen? And the market is open. Ding, ding, ding. Good morning, everybody in the chat. So I'm going to be waiting for at a minimum this first 5-minute candle to close. We had been holding over this previous day high nicely. I think I want to see some real strength start to push us up before I would look for the longs potentially, or push down, fill this gap, hit the 0.6 of this pocket, and start to see some strength push us up from there. Those are kind of the things I'm looking for. What is that yellow line on my... I had to update my indicators, and I think that it like added... Yeah, I don't want that. Get off my screen, bro. I'm still deciding if I'm going to stick with Grizzology as my indicator. There are things I like a lot about it and things that have been a little tricky for me. So how's everybody doing? How's everybody's weekend? Has anybody taken any trades today yet? Make sure we have all of this ready to go. My group trading is set up on those accounts. We're on the leader account for this account. I don't think we rocket up out the gate, but maybe we do. Maybe we start to hold here. We're kind of running into this trend line. Just as a reminder, I don't trade trend lines, but I like to put them on my chart if there's a really obvious one, just to help me avoid taking a trade straight into a trend line that we might reject, kind of thing. So I would say like higher time frame, hourly plus, 2 hour plus actually, still looks really bullish. Temporarily on the 1 hour and below, I would say we look more bearish. So gotta wait for things to settle down. Don't know what that line is doing there. I'm gonna delete that. Must have been an accident. My weekend was fantastic. Got a lot done. Trying to prepare for this baby to come soon. Morning klepto. Favorite howl. Took some swing call options over the weekend, up about 30%. Nice. Like it. So let's get some music going. That's what I meant to do this weekend, is figure out how I can play music in a way where you guys will actually be able to hear it. Because I do not like to have my mic on the setting where it picks up all the background noise, because when my kids come downstairs, or even when they're playing in the playroom right above my head, it ends up being real loud sometimes. Also, pop culture news. Did anyone see that Hayden Panettiere passed away yesterday? I'm actually super sad about that. She is like one of those iconic stars, I would say. So I was very sad to see that. She was in one of the most iconic movies of all time. Good morning, Judy. Good morning, Robin. Yeah, super sad. Makes you realize how short life is. I have no idea what happened. I don't think there's any news out about what happened, but anytime I see that, it makes my heart hurt because, you know, she has a kid. She's like 36. Just puts things into perspective, I think. I don't know. Good thing to remember how little this trading stuff is in the grand scheme of life and what's really important, you know? So we just hit the 0.5 of that fib area. I actually do think we could end up having a nice rejection if we don't reclaim this opening print and we start to continue to fail below it. We could have a rejection from this area down to that 0.6, that like 150 area, but we just reclaimed with some nice volume actually on the 1 minute. Little engulfing this. Never mind. I wouldn't say it's like the best volume. So far, just chopping along though. Nothing too crazy. Yes, yeah. Sorry I wasn't live at the end of last week. I had 2 back-to-back commitments. I'll try not to do that in the future where I have like 2 days away from stream. But on occasion, I will be streaming on Tradeify TV. But you guys can go over to that stream if you want to join me there. And then on occasion, I do go to Team Bulls live trading just to hang with my buddies. I was trying to get music on. I feel like pregnancy makes my ADD like 1,000 times worse, actually. There we go. All right. So this is a situation where if we get, because of where the top of this 5-minute bar is, it is a pretty bearish bar, I will say. But if we were to get a nice close or push above on the lower time frames, I would potentially look for a 5-minute orb play to the upside because of the trend line and the previous day high. If we get a strong close somewhere up here, breaking out of this, and then a retest, I would potentially go for the longs off of the 5-minute orb. But right now, so far, we have 0 respect for the opening print on the 1 minute. It's terrible. Good morning. Can you explain the New York trade you took on 8/13 that you shared on Instagram? I thought the volume candle must be higher volume than the previous candle. Also, Jaden did not take this because it was in the 15-minute orb. Yeah, I can explain it, but I want to focus on what's happening in the market right now. So I don't want to scroll back to that, but if you remind me, if you stick around and you remind me later, I will explain. I will say that it was not a lower volume candle. It was a higher volume close above the level. So Jacob and I trade similar. I don't always wait the first 15 minutes. That is his rule. That is not my rule. I do sometimes if we're getting choppy action, but I do wait for candle closures, but I trade the 5-minute orb sometimes, and that trade was based off of a break and retest of previous day high, as well as the confluence of 30K. the 30,000 whole cycle level that we had rejected the previous day. So there was a ton of confluence to that level. We had a 5-minute high volume candle close. It was the second candle of the day. So yes, the volume was slightly lower than the first candle, but in terms of like, if you watch volume, like look at these two first 5-minute candles, see the difference between how much volume was on this first 5-minute candle and the significant drop off. This is more normal. What we had that day was a high volume green bar to the upside. And then the second candle was like here. It was like almost as high volume as the first candle, which is extremely bullish. So relative to what the norm is for the second candle of the day, it was a high volume candle. You just have to actually be familiar with what these first two candles typically look like to be able to identify that. Because if you're only looking at relative volume, aka like this candle versus this candle, and you're not familiar with what these two candles typically print as, you won't be able to identify when the second candle is a high volume candle, right? This is, I would say, a pretty average second candle volume wise. So I will say now after that close, if we continue to hold below this opening print, I do think we will end up pushing down to at least take out this Asia low, fill this gap. I can't imagine we don't go down and fill that gap. And this 0.618 at 150. Let's see how we react to this opening print. We're just going to sweep and push up potentially. I don't really like anything in this area right now. I do think that if we continue to reject this opening print, I would think that there's a potential for us to push down and sweep these areas, but we have been front running levels a lot. Ashley says it's great to have you. Great you have trading communities. Yeah. I'm very thankful for all the Team Bull guys. They're like my little brothers, basically. Wow, look at that nice rejection off the opening print. I will say I'm still bullish though overall, unless we start to break below this like 30,150 area. Just because if we were going to really push down, I think we would have already done it. We've now attempted down twice and are trying to push up. Defended it here, pushed up, rejected, defended it here, pushing up. But we will see. Got to be patient. Yeah, so the one thing I'll say, head in the clouds, about that trade is that I could see how it could be confusing to you if you have learned specifically from Jacob. I don't trade the same as Jacob exactly. I have very much my own edge and my own way of doing things, especially with how I look at multiple time frames. The timing of my trades, I tend to, I would say like the biggest difference, and this isn't like saying I'm better in any way. He's a much more established trader than I am. But I will say that we get into a lot of the same trades, but when we do, I tend to get in a little bit earlier. And I keep my risk usually a little bit tighter, I would say. It does sometimes put me in a position to be stopped at break even or take multiple attempts on a trade. But I would say like the flip side of that is that he'll miss trades that I'll end up catching because he will wait for the deeper pullback and things like that. Because I utilize the lower time frames, I look for specific price action on the lower time frames to signal for me to get into trades. And that confirmation that I can find on the lower time frames often will allow me to get into trades with high confidence, trusting that they're not going to pull back as deep as sometimes he's looking for. He trades primarily only off of the 5 minute for his entries and stuff, and so when there's really volatile price action with really big ranges on 5 minute candles, sometimes he won't get an entry because he's waiting for a deeper pullback because of where he wants to put his risk. My fib, it's just based off of previous day low. Right here, previous day low to pre-market high. That's where the fib is. So like here to here. Okay, trying to push down again. Holding below that opening print really nicely. If you look at the 5 minute chart, too much bouncing in this area for me to want to take the opening print retest up here though. So even though I do see us from these rejections potentially going lower, for shorts, I would rather clear this area and get a nice strong close below pre-market low, Asia low, like all the way down here below basically 150 with volume confirmation on the 5 minute to want to take a short. We'll see what this candle gives us. I don't believe, I actually need to double check we don't have any news. I don't believe we have any red folder news coming up at 8, but let me double check. Yeah, we have some yellow folder at 8. NAHB Housing Market Index. Oh, let's get comfy since we have no trades to take right now. Not going to be rushing into anything, especially on a Monday. It's interesting because you could call it a no news Monday in the sense that we don't have like red folder scheduled news, but we did have that news, that war news that came out. And I think that actually is kind of why we're chopping. I think that negative news has people trying to short, and then the market generally is more bullish. Uh-oh. Am I freezing for you guys? What's up? Good morning, Facey TX. Holding that pre-market low like it's our job. Okay. I have the YouTube stream pulled up so I can see the chat, and it was like giving me one of these, you know, the little spiral of death that means it's buffering. So I was like, oh shoot. I just struggle to imagine a world where we don't go fill that little gap. We're so close to it. And those smaller gaps typically always get filled if we come back down near them. So that's the kind of weird part for me here. Very low volume 5-minute candle that just pushed up. Might be one of those days we just got to be super, super, super patient, which is fine. The gap is just the ETH, this little gap right here. So when price opened for Asia session, price closed on Friday at 31.54, and then we opened up all the way up here at 31.69. We wicked down, so the true gap is 163 to 154. Just this little gap in price right here. Oftentimes, when there's a small gap, it gets filled. And we're pushing back down. So that's why I have that marked, that little box with the line through it. I don't know how to get rid of the line. That's why the line's still there. I thought, oh, you know what? It's right here. There we go. So it's just this little red box. Close back above opening print. 15-minute close. So we have our range. It's definitely a more bearish looking candle in the sense of the fact that it's kind of a hammer-ish. Actually, I'm not going to call that a hammer. It's more of just a doji, but it's a down close candle. However, we did push down on the 15 and fail to go lower. So this right here, right, pushed down below the low and failed to continue down. And now if we go break the highs, that could be a flipping trend, right? So we could be starting to get bullish. But gives us a really nice clear range to pay attention to, right? I am going to be waiting for some volume confirmation and clear opportunity to enter so that I don't end up getting faked out, because this is the type of price action that you can get real chopped up and faked out in. So we just got to be patient. Wait for the opportunity. Price should go fill the gap. So it doesn't mean it has to close through it or be in it. It's just that typically when there's a small gap and we return back down to it like this, you see price fill it, like push through it, and then it doesn't, like, there's no playbook for exactly what's going to happen. Like once price hits that, it will do this. But if we're pushing down towards a gap like this, especially a smaller gap, it's not uncommon. I would say it's more often than not that when we get this, we got to the top of the gap, we get that close to the gap, price just wants to kind of fall through it. And then if it wants to go up, it'll go up. I was kind of expecting that right here, right? Because we also have the 0.6 right on the other side of it. We have the Asia low right there, which didn't actually get touched. We front ran it by like a tick or something. So for me to want to take the long from down in this area, I would have wanted to see price fill the gap, hit this 0.6, and then see our bullish reaction and take the long. Five minutes left till the next 15-minute candle closes, and we're still inside that first 5-minute bar. So we are finally getting some 5-minute closes above the opening print, and it looks more so like we want to push up than not. But nothing crazy promising to me until I would really want to see us clear this previous day high, I think, to be honest. Like, I would love to see a green bar close up here above previous day high with volume. And then I would look for a retest wick down into previous day high / the top of this orb in this trend line to then target pre-market high, Asia high. It's kind of where my head's at. I think the longs look better than the shorts right now, especially on the lower time frames. But again, this is just a tricky area to try and enter a trade. Especially because we've been pushing up on lowering volume. If we hold the opening print right here, I would really expect us to try and go higher. At least attempt to go higher. It's just a very choppy area to try and get involved in the price action. Overall, I'm still leaning for the longs if we can hold this area here. And there she goes, trying. Two minutes left on this candle to close. One minute. We're about to have an hourly candle close also. So the hourly looks like it's actually kind of trying to set up for a 3-bar to the downside potentially, which is interesting. Actually, kind of like the longs from this area. If we can hold this opening print one more time. It's trying real hard. Just want to see that push up and close above that previous day high. I think we have the previous week high potentially in that area as well. Some volume coming in here. Trying to figure out what we're going to do. Starting to fail, trying to fail that opening print. Just been holding it so clean that I'm almost tempted to try the long from down here, but I don't know if we want to push down first, you know? We did have an inside bar on the 15, but it closed very bullish. So if we're going to continue up, I would kind of expect it to happen from this area. Good morning, JV. How are you? Good to see you in the chat. Hope you had a good weekend. Here come the buyers trying to really push price up. I just want to see an explosive move out of the top of this range with a lot of volume. And then I will be potentially looking for the longs. But now we're rejecting that VWAP area again, which is not what I wanted to see. The chop is very choppy. And it almost looks like we're trying to get some volume to the downside here. So maybe we do end up going and filling that gap and getting some sort of a push down. I'm still not personally super convinced of it, to be honest with you. I would just be careful in this area down here. There is definitely some selling volume coming in. But I think we could still hold this area and push back up. So I would just be careful. How much time on this candle? A minute. Yeah, this candle could still completely wick up. There's buyers clearly stepping in over and over again in this area. This 1 minute candle has significant volume on it off of that same area we've pushed up off of multiple times now. Yeah, the 1 minute candle is definitely showing some significant buying pressure down here. We also have the point of control right there. We're below the opening print, but that 1 minute candle was pretty significant. I would say not to be ignored in terms of the reaction that we got there. Even if this 5 minute candle closes weak, which it's looking like it's trying to, well, it's wicking up here in the last minute. The longs could still come in from this area. I just am not sold on the shorts personally quite yet. Even though we're still trying to close underneath. Where's the RTH? 5 minute. Holding that 8 EMA on the 5 minute RTH here also. So if we're gonna hold, I would expect us to hold here. We might get some sort of flush and then move up. Still trying to hold here, guys. This point of control is holding very, very strong. Not a lot of strong selling pressure on that 1 minute candle necessarily. There's part of me that doesn't mind the long from this area, to be honest. I'm just not necessarily super interested personally in trying to get in the middle of the chop. It's usually something I try to avoid for the most part. But I mean, look at the buyers trying to push this candle up again.
It could be setting a higher low to whoever suggested that. It also, guys, I mean, look at the. We're in a range. I went for the green bar thinking it might be the breakout. We're staying in the range.
And we're trying to push down.
But I'm not gonna sit here all day for it.
I don't know. I don't love this this 5 minute candle that printed here for the shorts. I still think for a short, personally, I would want to see price get all the way down here and close really strong because we've been defending up here so aggressively. I think we still very much could bounce in this area and see buyers step in and take us all the way back up. It's just nothing that's clear enough.
Guys, at some point in the near future, I'm probably just going to leave the desk because, like, really soon, just because the more I stick around, the more I will be willing to give it a shot because it deserves.
Are we going to hold the pre-market high here? Or are we going to start to flush? There's definitely some sellers trying to step in on the lower time frame, you can see, but I think we could still push up from this area. Maybe we get the push down and then the sweep. That we talked about before. Very strong 5 minute bar to the downside. Or sorry, not strong, but big. So here's that Asia low. We're hitting. I like the buying coming off of this a lot right now.
Same way for shorts. You can't say, well, I'm waiting for weakness to start to show.
Look at this candle now, guys. That's the reaction I was wanting to see. We didn't go all the way down, but I'm very interested now to see how this 5 minute candle closes. Let's see. We have has decent volume on it. This closes back over that point of control. Wow, guys. Look at that. Look at that bounce. No entry for me yet. Nothing that like made sense for me to enter off of right there. But we finally pushed at least into the gap and swept the Asia low, and now we're pushing up. Sorry, let me move that so you guys can actually see the volume and stuff. Chop, chop, chop.
Oh my God, why did it keep disconnecting? Okay, so I thought I took that long on a fresh eval. So now I'm down 400 after that last long. That's off like 5 hours. So this must have been another one that I had already made progress
on. Good morning, good morning. No trades for us yet, just waiting to try and get out of this chop. I was tempted on the long down here. I just didn't see an entry that I personally liked in terms of risk because we only pushed down to that 161 and didn't quite sweep. It was a pretty quick and aggressive bounce, so still being patient and waiting. We're trying to. Nice little 3-bar on the 1 minute potentially about to play out and start to break us to the upside. Want to see us push back up over all of this, over the trend line, or dump and close below this area. Just got to be patient and wait.
I still think this is the trade of the day, guys. I don't know. We'll see if it works out or plays out. But this is my theory for the trade of the day still.
Oh, my music stopped. Gonna have to push aggressively through this area to get some momentum to the upside, or else we might just sit here and chop a while longer, to be honest. It's trying. It wants to. It's like teetering around here at the opening print, trying to decide if it's going to continue up. The buyers are trying to push it up. The volume is with the buyers, I would say, very clearly. But this is an area where sellers could try to step back in. Got to get through all of this nonsense. There we go. Now it's pushing up. It's trying to. I want to get some calls loaded here. Where is the price at? 733. So up here it would be a little higher. We did just get a close above those EMAs, which makes me think this is going to want to keep going up. 7. Where did it just go? Oh, I'm on the wrong day, that's why.
Why did that take 6 years to fill? Well, this is a very aggressive little DJ hours entry, but I wanted it. This is a rare instance, guys, where I have 2 of the same trade. I have the same trade on 2 different evals. Normally I do 1 at a time. But I like this being at the opening sprint. Now we're rejecting the opening sprint, so we'll see. If we reject the opening sprint again, then I really give up. But
Okay. Now I have contracts loaded. Wow. Look at that dump. Holy cow.
can't get any motion away from the open, guys.
We're just ping-ponging. Ping pong, bing bong. Okay. Caught the VWAP rejection earlier for 2R. 4-hour outside sell bar had been formed. PDH already swept. Are you on ES? Or are you talking about how previously high was swept during the overnight session?
I hate it. What did they do to my baby? New York is the most fun time ever to trade, and they have murdered my child. New York is now the worst session ever.
This price action is rough, guys. Grizzology. It's a paid indicator that Grizzly from Team Bull made. I'm trying it out. I was saying when I first started the stream, I'm still trying to figure out how much, like if I really like it, because I've had a few little glitches with it. But for the most part, I do like it. I do like it. There's a lot on it. So like, watch, if I do this, we have a couple minutes till this candle closes. These are all the things you can do. You can put supply and demand zones. You can have it give you buy and sell signals for those, trend signals, all of these different key levels. London session, Asia session, Asia opening range, point of control, pivots, like fair value gaps. It has literally everything. So you can pick and choose what you want to use. I think my biggest issue is that I'm putting more stuff on it than I probably need. And that's throwing me off a little bit. So, anyway. What in the world is this, you guys?
Alright, tag me out. Alright, guys, I'm done, man. I lost a couple evals. I lost the options trade.
This is crazy. All right. Got a new song going on here. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the 2-minute up here. Very, very, very clear on the 2-minute how we're holding this area. So for me to want to attempt anything, I need a clear close outside of this whole. I'll highlight it really quick. Where is my, there it is. Oops. What in the, okay. I want, whoa, that's not what I wanted. Y'all. Like, give me a close outside of this whole area, basically. You could put it lower, but I don't really want to take a trade straight into previous day high, so. Even this candle, like we have a bearish engulfing candle to the downside, however, has really low volume. So you could almost potentially like justify trying to play the range here. Take a bounce off of this and just take it back up, but that is not my trading style, so I'm not going to do that. Technically, we just got a 1 minute close outside of the 15-minute range, but it was barely and immediately reclaimed. So I personally would be hesitant to short anywhere around here. I would wait for a very, very clear close with the volume showing sellers really in control. Selling pressure coming in on ES. Let me look at ES. I don't know. What are you looking at saying there's selling pressure coming in? I don't see anything convincing personally, but you could be right. All I see is us bouncing in the same exact area that we've been bouncing with a bunch of wicks. So back to NQ over here. Well, guys, maybe I should work on my riddle for a giveaway. So now we officially filled the gap and we're bouncing. That candle went down and pushed through the gap and is now bouncing again aggressively. I wish that we had higher volume on this 5-minute candle that bounced, because I would honestly potentially try a long on a pullback into this candle, but we closed right below pre-market low and the volume is still pretty low. Although the volume on the 1-minute is really high on that last candle, which makes me still feel very hesitant towards the idea of shorts. What indicator to use? It's called Grizzology. It's this one. It's a paid indicator that someone I know from Team Bowl, he goes by Grizzly, he made it. So I'm trying it out right now. I just started using it a couple weeks ago, and so I'm still getting used to it. But it has literally everything you could pretty much think of under the sun that you can add or subtract from it. You can customize what the lines look like, what colors they are. You can have it have the orb. You can have it have point of control and value areas, like all that kind of stuff. There's like a ton of customization. Fair value gaps. I'm hoping that's the sweep that we needed, and now buyers can really actually start pushing us up. But if we don't start getting some sort of movement soon, I'm going to struggle to want to continue to watch this price action. How helpful were Asia high and low for you? I mean, I like seeing them as levels. Like, look at how we're respecting Asia low. I like seeing them. But it's to each their own, you know? The levels that I see as valuable are not always going to be the same as the levels that you see as valuable. I know people who only use pre-market high, pre-market low. I know people who use only like session levels, like Asia high and London low. I usually don't put London high and London low because they usually align a lot with pre-market high and pre-market low. How much time on this 15-minute? It'll be interesting if we can get more of a push down, if we get a close on the 15-minute outside of the range. It doesn't look like we're gonna. Looks like we're trying to push up still here. Just gotta be patient. Oh yeah, I was trying to work on my riddle. Yeah, I used to do all mine manually as well. I stopped doing it manually when I realized that there was an option to use an indicator, and it saves me a lot of time. Not a lot. I mean, it's pretty quick to mark levels, but it saves me time in the morning, which for me, the time of day that I trade is already tricky because I got to get up, get myself ready, get my kids dressed and ready, especially during the school year, which is just now starting, fed, all of that. So if I can save 5 minutes, Did you guys like when we did the riddles for the giveaway, or should we do something else today? What should we do? What do you guys think? I don't want to pay the $30 a month for it. That's fine. Again, to each their own, right? I'm more than willing to pay for convenience in this, especially in this season of life, for me personally. How much time do we have on this candle? I'm gonna go pee real fast, guys. I'll be right back. Let me know in the chat how we should do the giveaway. What's up? What's up? I'm saying what's up? I don't know what that means. What's up? I don't know what that means. What are you up to? Watching. What? Watching. Mom? Yeah. I think I want to watch something else. What, buddy? What, buddy? I can't change it for you right now. Or what do you want to watch for? Like, obvious things. Shark versus giant croc? Or the croc that ate dogs? What's your choices? Hurry. This one? Nope. I don't have time. Sorry. Sorry, guys. I had to help my kid with something really quick. All right. Pick a number between 0 and 100. Duck race, spin wheel, riddles. Yeah, I don't have it set up for the duck race or the spin wheel or any of that, so. Creeping back up from this area. If only this had a little bit of a bump in volume, I would have taken the longs off this pullback into the bottom of the range. 100%. Just didn't have the confirmation that I needed, which is fine. Okay. This is what I'm gonna do for the giveaway. going to be a combination of things. So I'm going to write down on this paper. So it can't be no cheating. Okay, you guys ready? This is gonna be the giveaway. Guess my baby's current weight. I don't even know my baby's current weight, so we wouldn't be able to do that. Okay, so it's 3 things. It's a play off of your suggestion of a number between 1 and 100, but it's not. So you have to guess all 3 correct. The combination of all 3 correct in one chat. So don't write them separately, write them all 3 to get it correct. It is a number between 1 and 10, a color of the rainbow, so like a basic color, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, or purple, right? That's the rainbow. We all know the rainbow. And a season, fall, winter, spring, or summer. So a number between 1 and 10, a color, and a season. All 3 of them, I have them written down. Oh my gosh. JV, how did you get that? How did you get that? JV wins. JV trades. Holy crap. That was so fast. 7 green fall. JV trades was the first one to get it. I have it written down right here. You guys can see it. That's crazy. That was so fast. Wow. Yeah, I didn't hold that in the right spot. 7 is my favorite number. Green is my favorite color. And fall is my favorite season. At least this year, fall is my favorite season. Okay. JB, DM me on Instagram right now, and I'll send you your account. That was crazy how fast you got that. I thought that would be harder. It would take you guys a little longer, but a lot of you guessed the exact thing on your first guess. W's in the chat for JV. Now is a great time. If you guys have not, please like the stream. Please subscribe. That helps me. And let's see. If we get our likes up a little bit on this, maybe I will give away another account since we have trash price action. I was only planning to give away 1, but I feel like this trashy price action is like a sign that I should give away more than 1. What do you guys think? There's 58 of you watching right now. So right now I see 25 likes. When we get the likes up to 45, I will do another giveaway. I'll try and think of another clever way to do it. Okay, you sent the DM. Perfect. All right. I think, hold on, let me look at what I have to give away. Should have done that first, probably. My bad. I just don't know what kind of accounts they are. What the? Have we gotten the like counts up yet, or what? Here they are. Okay. All right. JV is getting a 50K select account. So use the code I just sent you. And you can apply it. Okay, this is what I'm going to tell you guys. Triple check, please triple check when you submit that code for the account that it shows 000, like that you're not paying. Because I've had a lot of people who put the code in and like they're not pressing apply or something, and then the code's, it's not giving them the account for free and they're getting charged, and then it's a pain to deal with. Back to Hayden. Yeah, that's the iconic movie I was talking about. Remember the Titans is like one of the most iconic. I mean, can we say, is it the most iconic football movie at least? Maybe The Blind Side is more iconic. I don't know. That's up for debate. We'll do one more giveaway. Let's see if we got, let me refresh this and see if we got our like count up. Oh, 45 on the dot. Good job, guys. Okay. Let's see. Should we do another like, should we do like a trivia? Should we do some sort of trivia? My issue with doing trivia is that like, how do I know you guys aren't cheating and like using ChatGPT or something, you know? Will you guys give your scouts honor that you're not going to cheat if we do trivia? Ashley had to walk away to feed her sourdough starter. That's hilarious. Okay. Okay, I have a good one. I'm going to write the question in the chat so everyone has a fair... I think I just spelled that wrong. No, that's right. This is going to be an A, B, C, or D question. And I'm doing it A, B, C, or D because you can try to look it up, but if everyone just spams the chat with their answer, chances are someone's going to win it before you have the chance to look it up. This will be for 25K. I think this is actually going to be pretty hard. All right, guys, are you guys ready? Is everyone ready for the giveaway? So if you missed the rules, first person to put the answer, I'm going to drop it in the chat. I'll read it right after I drop it. It's A, B, C, D. And first person to get it wins a 25K Tradeify Select account. All right, here we go. What is the oldest stock exchange? Oh, I forgot to drop it in the chat. I'm going to read it first and then I'll enter it exactly after. What is the oldest stock exchange in the world that is still operating today? A, B, C, or D? A, New York Stock Exchange. B, London Stock Exchange. C, Amsterdam Stock Exchange. Or D, Frankfurt Stock Exchange. Mango, how did you even get that? I just barely put it in the chat, y'all. Mango wins. W in the chat for Mango 6118. The answer is C, Amsterdam Stock Exchange. Apparently, that was surprising to me actually. Apparently it was founded in 1602. That was wild. How did you get that? How did you get that? All right, guys, there's some action. DM me on Instagram, Mango, and I will send you that account. Thanks for playing. That was fun. W's in the chat for Mango. We're breaking above the opening print again for the first time in a hot second here. So let's see what price does. Maybe we'll get a trade. This has been some brutal Monday price action. Are we that surprised though after the week that we had last week? Are we? I don't know. Hi, buddy. Okay. Are there some down here? Okay. Can you wait a little bit? Okay. Volume is just dying off, you guys. Like, what are we even supposed to do with this? Okay. Mango says they sent. I thought that that was going to be way harder for you guys, and low-key, I'm a little frustrated. Mango, can you send me in your DM? I see your DM, but I want to like just since your name doesn't match. Not that I don't trust you, but I've had people try to scam me out of accounts before. Do you mind just taking like a screenshot of your profile on YouTube with your name and sending it to me on Instagram so that I can just verify that you are in fact, that you are in fact Mango, since your usernames don't match at all? Pretty please. And then I'll send the account over. That was wild. Did any of you actually know the answer to that, or were you all just guessing? Let me know. This would have been the trade off of this Asia low. I mean, a very slow trade and a slow grind, but it's grinding, that's for sure. If you scroll up, you can see the question, Hill. It's what is the oldest stock exchange in the world that is still operating today? New York Stock Exchange, London Stock Exchange, Amsterdam Stock Exchange, or Frankfurt Stock Exchange? Rejecting the VWAP and the opening print again. Oh. Holy cow. Hold on. There's a huge truck in my driveway. We have one of those bagsters. Have any of you ever used that? A bagster? It's like a bag dumpster that they come and pick up with this huge truck, and it's being picked up right now. So there's like a giant... Saxon! Come here, buddy. Quick. Look out the window. They're picking up that big dumpster bag. Go that way, go that way, go that way. Go around the back of my computer. Can you see? Isn't that crazy, dude? Holy cow.
That's a crane truck.
Uh-oh.
What? What? Is it too heavy?
It looks too heavy. That's crazy.
It might be too heavy for the
Okay, sorry guys. That's crazy to watch. I'm like a little concerned that we actually loaded it too heavy, because there's a ton of like rock and stone and cement. We're getting volume. Guys, there's some volume. There's some volume coming in. Can you get down from there, buddy?
Yes. Can you get me that chocolate granola?
In a minute. Okay. Interesting candle. So we got a 5-minute higher volume close on the rejection of VWAP in the opening print. However, the thing I don't like is that the hourly chart, it looks like a failed 3-bar to the downside. We held that area so well. just hesitant. Like you could almost justify opening print rejection trade right here on the 50% of this candle, which we're probably right around, right in this pocket. Should we try it? I don't like it because I don't like that we're over the EMAs. I think it could play out. The volume is there. We're probably right at the middle of this too. Like if we... I don't love it. I think you could take the short here. You could take the short here. I'm not taking it. I don't like it. I think it's a fake out. I have the Grizzology indicator on here. It's a paid indicator. It's like $30 a month. And it has a million things that you can put on it. So I don't have everything on it or selected, but there's a lot that you can put on it. That is what I have. Can't believe this PA though. I was hoping for something a little more exciting. Yeah, it's taking a trade literally in the middle of chop, and similar to like how I feel about range trading is like just because we've rejected this area before, right? Like the last time was right here, or we sold off down to here, doesn't mean that this won't be the time that it cracks. There is the volume, but let's see, 1050. If you look at so this is what I don't like about it. Let's see if this starts to break up. That would be nice. There's something stuck in my mouse. If we look at the 1 minute, so this is why I like using multiple time frames. What in the world is on my mouse? It's like making it all crunchy feeling. Okay, so look at the 1 minute here. That candle started at 1050. We pushed up, high volume, up close candle, volume drops off on the down close candle, volume pops back in on the candle that starts to find support, right? So even though that candle has more volume, it's not necessarily volume that's supportive of buyers. Just because the structure of the candle in the 5 minute looks how it does. And look at that. Boom. Pushed right over. And now we're breaking trend to the upside. And it looks like we might get decent volume on this candle. See how we close. Still nothing to like write home about. But just breaking that trend would be nice. We also are about to close this hourly candle on RTH, and it's looking very bullish. We just closed it. Sorry, not on RTH, on ETH. Bullish hammer to the upside. At one point was a 3-bar to the downside. Failed continuation to the downside. Flipped back green. So I think we absolutely could finally start seeing buyers step in if we can be patient. There's not an entry that I love off of this candle, just because this candle is bullish, but there's not that much volume behind it. So you could potentially argue like the VWAP retest, trendline retest, GP of this candle retest for the long. But it would kind of be front running it, hoping for price to push up, which I think it will. We did also get a close above both EMAs on the 15, which is nice. We did get the EMA flip. I'm tempted to try it, I'm not gonna lie, but I just... Do I have any evals right now? Can't remember if I have any evals trade right now. It's going. I'm not taking it. I'm not taking it. It might be a no trade day for me. Sorry, Mango, I forgot to respond. I'm responding right now. Got distracted by that giant thing in my driveway. Just sent. Okay, while we're waiting for this 5-minute candle to close, I'm gonna go, my son asked me to help him with something really quick, so I'm gonna go help him really fast. I'll be right back, and hopefully we'll actually get a good trade. There you go, buddy. Okay, we're back. Oh my goodness! Guys, we have movement. Should have taken that long. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. All right, can we get, this could be a good like traditional orb trade. I don't love that we're right below previous day high. That's the only thing I don't love about this right now. Shoot.
The bigger truck did it.
It did it?
Yeah.
Good. Watching as we pull back to this point of control. Oh wait, point of control is down here. Why does it show right here on my 1 minute chart? I think you could potentially take this orb retest right here, but I just really don't want to take it straight into previous day high. I think it's going to go. There it goes. I don't understand why this is showing. I try to have the supply and demand off of this, and it has one right here. So I will be looking for the longs. I just want to see. To me, I didn't like the risk to reward on trying to take the orb retest. This was probably the valid trade right here. Let's break a structure, retest, up targeting previous day high. I just don't love the action today. I just don't know if there's going to be anything for me, you know? But I'm going to wait. I'm going to see if I can get a good entry for something. I want to see how this candle closes. Do we sweep and reject here? Rejecting pretty aggressively here so far. Go ahead and delete that gap that we closed. Sorry, I'm eating a snack while I'm streaming, guys. Pregnancy problems. See ya, Ashley. This is why I didn't take that, you guys. This is exactly why I didn't take that. So, doesn't mean we won't still go higher. But if I would have taken the retest of the orb, even if I got in at the lowest point of that retest, which was 264, we pushed in a previous day high to 287, so barely 20 points, and then immediately now are flipping and rejecting. Whereas the risk, the proper risk for that trade would have had to been all the way down here at 232. It's way too much risk for like this target. I never will take a trade into a key level that we have a very high probability of rejecting, as we are, with upside down risk to reward like that. Because sometimes we do front run it like this by a couple points and flip. So it's not a higher volume rejection candle. So if we continue to pull back, I actually really want to see how this 15-minute candle closes. We could 3-bar to the upside here potentially. There's just, it's a lot of unknowns. There's not a clear, there's not a super clear path, I would say. I also wouldn't personally short this quite yet. The best trade of the day, honestly, was right here. We just didn't get volume confirmation, but literally that was pretty much exactly what I said I was looking for since the market opened. Was I wanted to sweep this level, fill the little gap that we had, and then see a bullish reaction. And we got it just wasn't as bullish of a reaction as I would have wanted. And like, who really wants to sit through this much chop? I would love to see this 15 and 3 minutes close strong above previous day high. Then, if that happens, if we get the close above previous day high, then I would potentially look for the pullback for a long. Oh, that's interesting. Let me close my door really quick. My son is being very loud in the other room. That sounds like a cool indicator. I feel like I am that indicator for myself. Like, I just read the volume on the lower time frames to figure out where the volume is coming from, but could be helpful though. Kind of looks like NQ's trying to bull flag potentially, but I don't think we're going to get the close that I want to see unless there's a big strong push up right here. We might start to flip, pull back. I know, Klepto, you're just seeing that. We talked about that earlier. I'm super sad. Yeah, have they said anything yet about her cause of death? I just saw that she was like found unresponsive. I feel like it's going to be a drug overdose. It's kind of looking good for the short, to be honest. It was an overdose? Wait, she was killed? Like she was murdered, or was it a drug overdose? Those are two very different things. We did not get the close I was hoping to see outside the previous day high. I'm probably going to stay on for about 15 more minutes and then call it personally. Wait, what, Klepto? You think she was murdered? All right, I think if we break this bull flag to the upside on the lower time frame, we're going to start to see the longs come in. Back outside the range. I don't know though, guys. Volume's dropping off on the pullback, which is what I like to see. I just don't like that we already pushed into this key level. That's what's keeping me out of it. Doesn't mean it's not a decent trade, potentially. It just is tricky. Anybody else think that that's accurate? Wow. Did she call them out by name, Klepto? I hope someone makes a documentary about it. I love true crime stuff. Is anyone else on that? True crime. Still trying to reject back in to the orb kind of here. So I don't know, guys. I don't know what kind of price action this is supposed to be. Whoa. Her ex got custody of her daughter. He was 33. She was 18. Very, very clear bull flag trying to form. We have a minute left till this 15-minute candle closes. I think if this starts to break to the upside, it could get pretty explosive. We're stalling, but we're not really like actually selling off. $30 seconds. Put that inside. What do you guys think? Are we going to go up? I kind of think we're going to go up from here. I'm tempted to try the bull flag breakout here, but it just is 55 to 75, so a 20-point stop. We don't really have volume confirmation, is the thing. I don't want to go to pre-market high, honestly. I think it's going to go up there. I just don't. I guess the volume confirmation is on this candle. So if you took it back here, perhaps, but I just don't like that we swept the level. You know? I don't know. Yeah, let's review that trade real quick. When was that? Thursday? Oh, I still have my thing on. Perfect. All right, so let's mark the previous day high. I always do it in purple. You know there's a trade review on Instagram, right? Did we talk about that already? Okay, so look at these first two candle volumes on the 5-minute compared to today's that we were looking at earlier. Today, there's a big red volume candle to the downside and another red volume candle to the downside, but the volume drops off to like down here. This right here, high volume, almost equal volume on the second candle is very rare. So, sorry, I just want to see where that 15-minute candle closed. Pretty bearish looking. Okay, so high volume, obviously open candle. That's normal. It closed above the pre-market high, which is already bullish. Didn't pull back at all. Second candle, I would say, is even more bullish because we just continued up, really high volume, closed above 30,000, which is also the previous day high in the area we rejected. Then if you look at the 5-minute, or the down close candle on the 5-minute, you can see the volume drops off significantly, which set us up for a 3-bar continuation pattern. I took it down here because of the reaction we saw in the lower time frame, which, excuse me, I will show you in a second. But if you look down here, we closed this 5-minute candle after testing the level, not failing back below it, low volume, and it's a consolidation candle, which sets us up for a 3-bar continuation pattern. Let's go ahead and go down to the 1-minute. And this is right where I entered, right here on this 1-minute candle after we tested the level. So when I'm watching for a pullback like that, I'm watching for the 5-minute close over the level. Then I'm watching price pull back to the level, and I'm looking for a reaction at the level. That's what this candle was. It was a super bullish reaction. I had a very tight stop on this trade because I trusted that essentially, if we're going to hold this level, this is going to be the hold right here. And we're going to continue with extreme momentum, which it was a break and retest trade, but it also in some ways I would say was a momentum trade because of how strong that second 5-minute candle was, right? When we had that much momentum, we pull back, tap a level, and have a reaction where this at one point was a fully red candle below the level. Buyers pushed it back up, flipped it green, and closed it green. I entered before this candle even closed. As soon as this candle started to flip green, I was in. And it was, you know, like basically for me, if we would have closed a 1-minute candle below this level, I probably would have gotten out. I didn't have a hard stop in. But hypothetically, your stop can just be the bottom of this candle once that candle closes, which is 12 points. Even if you waited for this candle to close, it would have been 16 points, and it went up the rest of the day. So anyway, hopefully that helps. Let me know if you have any questions on that. Any questions on that? Head in the clouds. Let's go back to the 5-minute up here. Whoa. I still think we could head up from here potentially. I'm not necessarily convinced on like any serious downside. But technically this could be a lower high, so I'm not in this trade, by the way. Just watching it. I do still think that price will end up pushing up from here. Retesting that 8 EMA. Well, guys, this is probably where I'm going to call it. I don't really see any great opportunities. I think the longs likely will come in. Just, you know, personal preference of if you want to put on the risk or not. For me, I think I'm going to hold off for now. Maybe there'll be some better price action later. And look at that. Test of the 8. Might start to break this flag to the upside, but there's not a lot of movement in the market right now. So for me, I think I'm probably just going to go take my kid to the park or something, hang out, and either come back tomorrow or maybe check out what's happening power hour if I have the availability. Thanks for hanging with me. It was a super boring stream for the most part, so sorry about that, but we did a couple giveaways. No trades, couple trade ideas, but nothing with any clear confirmation. And yeah, we avoided the chop. So congratulations if you're able to avoid the chop and not force something and go red on this terrible PA day. Hopefully there are better days ahead for us. Appreciate you all. And yeah.